Welcome to reception in grade 1. So I'm Miss Hazi. I have been teaching for 12 years. I started teaching in Zimbabwe and then moved to China, and from China to Tanzania, and from Tanzania to Indonesia. My degree is in fine arts, so I started off as an artist and fell in love with teaching, but my master's is in early childhood education along with brain development and behavioral development. This is my classroom here in Semarang, where I work with reception and grade 1 students. Let me show you around. Okay, so my classroom, like I said, is reception and grade 1. So we have a large group of students and a finite amount of space. So when you walk around our classroom, you'll see that we have tables that you can move around, we have seating that you can move around. Everything is adaptable for the students and how they work best. I'm originally a play-based teacher, so I prefer working hands-on and allowing children to be comfortable in their own space. They have as much direction in how things are placed around the classroom as I do. One of the key skills that we want to develop in reception as well as grade 1 is independence. So being able to come into the classroom, put your belongings away, and sort yourself out or find the things that you need on your own and become more independent is a huge step for us. So over here, we have all of the stationery you'll need in the classroom, from glue, pencil, pens, markers, papers, books, our Cambridge books, our writing books, our drawing books, our math books. Anything that the students will need for writing activities can be found on that end. And on this end over here, we have STEM boxes and manipulatives that we use for our math, literacy, and creative art activities. In the morning, the students come in and they will take their backpacks through to the lockers on the other side of that door and put their water bottles away. And then they will have activities that they can do in the morning until the rest of their classmates are here. At 8 a.m., we have circle time on the carpet here. One of the students is responsible for writing in today's date. We keep our daily schedule on this wall, and the students are responsible for checking what comes next. They will often ask, what time is it, or what are we doing now? And they can be referred to our schedule on the wall, so they become more responsible for their time management. Over here we have our math and literacy supplies. The students can come over here and collect whatever it is they need to work on. If we're working on math and they need counters or dice or anything else, they are responsible for coming to get the equipment that they need on their own. Why don't you come sit over here with me and I'll show you what we do. So with reception students, we would take block letters like this and create CVCs, or put the alphabets in order, or any multiple types of activities we can do with them. Building familiarity with letters and letter sounds is an essential part of reading, and it is a fundamental skill that we work on. I believe in doing literacy fundamentals until the students are bored stiff with it, because then they're fully confident in it and they're not hesitant when it comes to reading the early reader books. So I would technically use these to start building CVCs, and CVCs are consonant, vowel, consonant words. The students would have to put words together, either words that we have said for them or their own words that they've thought up and sounded out themselves. On a grade 1 level, we have these blocks that already have blended consonants together, and we would use blocks like this to build words on our own. And see if any of these words make any sense at all. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But the goal is to sound them out and see if you can read the word that you have made. This is our library space. also part of the teacher's office space. As I said before, this classroom is not just my space, but it's also the student space. So they have as much say in how the space is used as the teachers do. And this is a nice quiet area where they can all read and teachers can get their work done. And we know that this room is a quiet zone for anything. Sometimes there are students who are working on math problems or literacy problems or working on their daily 5 and they need a quiet space to work in without disturbance. They'll come and work in here. This is our library corner. Our books in the library will often reflect the unit we're doing at that point in time. Once they have a book, the students will make themselves comfortable on the carpets and read whatever they like. Over here we have our math board. This, again, like everything else in the classroom, adapts along with the unit and the focus that we're working on. Before COVID broke out, we were working on number sense and developing our understanding of numbers and how they work. So these were made by the students in reception as far as taking the photos for the fingers and writing the numbers and coloring the boxes in. The hundreds and tens are more for grade 1 level work for Cambridge, and that's what they've been working on there. We keep these up here to remind students that there are ways and skills that we learn to help us with our math. It's okay to make mistakes as long as we keep trying, and there's always things up here to help us when we need it. This lovely board over here is usually part of our IPC unit. The students do all of the work that you see up here. They've done the drawing, the coloring, the building, the taping, the writing. Our unit that is on the board right now is our flowers and insects unit, and we were learning about mammals, insects, as well as different types of plants that we find on Earth, living things and non-living things in general. The students made these dioramas in groups of 3 or 4, and they had to work together to do their research as well as to create their dioramas and illustrate them and write them. It was reception students and grade 1 students working together, so they all brought their best skills to the table and worked together. It's a fantastic opportunity for the grade 1 students to mentor the reception students and show them why we use writing and how we use writing in the classroom, as well as to develop their skills with coloring and painting and building things. As I've mentioned a few times now, we also have creative hour at least 2 or 3 times a week. Creative hour for us is unstructured playtime. The students will be given a STEM challenge which they need to figure out on their own, or they can just decide what they want to do and play with their friends. The benefit of this, particularly with having a mixed reception and grade 1 class, is that they learn social skills from each other and how to play nicely together and to share resources as much as possible. It also helps them inspire each other and give each other ideas for making different things. Our STEM boxes have a collection of different things, from wooden blocks to connectives. This is also one of the student favorites. They tend to make dinosaurs and airplanes with these, which are really cool. The different groups will often interact together as well. So we have our dinosaur builders and chicken builders, and then we have our house builders, and sometimes they'll end up building houses for the dinosaurs and chickens, and that suddenly turns into a zoo, which turns into a city, and suddenly what we thought was just kids playing becomes a massive art project that the whole class is working in. Unstructured play. Our brag tag wall. So the students are required to start reading, of course, at some point in primary school. And in reception, our focus is building in their phonics skills. And by January, most of our students are ready to start reading RAS Kids. And that's what we use for most of our reading. This is our brag tag wall. Depending on the number of books or stars you've gained on RAS Kids, you can get a bead to add to your chain, and they braid them in. Again, this is from before COVID, so you can see some students have a lot of beads, and there are best readers who make an effort to read more on RAS Kids. Of course, we also encourage children to read books that are not on RAS Kids and that are actual paperback books. Well, thank you for joining us on a tour of our classroom. I really hope you've enjoyed our virtual tour, and I hope we get to see you soon.